the second one is criterion validity. Okay, this is the kind of validity emphasizes on the relationship between the test score and also the outcome. So the test score should really represent the criterion that is intended to measure in the test. Okay, in the criterion validity, it can be established through two ways. The first one is concurrent validity, and the second one is predictive validity. So what is the difference between concurrent validity and also predictive validity? Well, if we talk about concurrent validity, a test is said to have concurrent validity if Now, how about the other kind of validity? It is construct validity. Construct validity refers to the concept or theories which are underlying the usage of a certain ability, including language ability. Yeah? The construct validity shows that the result of the task really represent the same construct with the ability of the student which is being measured. Okay, and then how about consequential validity? It is another kind of validity. It refers to the social consequences of using that particular task for a particular purpose, right? And the use of the task is said to have consequential validity to the extent of society benefits for that use of the task. Yeah, so like it has such an advantage for your society benefit. Yeah, and then the next one is about face validity. Yeah, in face validity, a test is said to have validity if it looks to other testers, teachers, moderators, and other students as it is measuring what it is supposed to measure. For example, yeah, in speaking tests, face validity can be shown by speaking activities, right, as the main activities in the test. So the task should focus on students' activities in speaking, not anything else. So that's why it will be called as face validity. So it looks to the other tasks, yeah, what is supposed to measure. The task can be judged to have face validity by simply look at the items of the test. So you can consider this kind of validity by using the item of the test itself. And note that face validity can affect students in doing the test. Yeah? To overcome this, the test constructor has to consider this one. The first one, students will be more confident if they have faced a well-constructed, expected format with familiar tasks. And students also will be less anxious if the task is clearly doable within the allocated time limit. And students will be more optimistic if the items are clear and uncomplicated or simple. Of course, students will find it easy to do if the tasks have a very clear direction, right? And also, the student will be less worried if the tasks are related to their course work or content validity. So that's why when you are trying to conduct face validity, you have to consider some aspect as I told you before. Now, we have done talking about validity, right? Now we move on to the other principle of developing language assessment. It is about reliability. Yeah, reliability refers to consistency of the scores obtained. Well, what does it mean? It means that if the test is administered to the same students on different occasions, then it produces almost the same result. So there will not be a very big gap between the task when you, for example, conduct it in a place, yeah, in your place, and then you try to find out the other example in the other place, so the result will not be big different. Yeah, so reliability actually does not really deal with the test itself, but it deals with the result of the test. So the test result should be consistent. Now I have example for you. Take a look onto scores on your screen. So which one is more reliable? Look at the scores on task A and the scores on task B. Just look at the example Bill. Yeah, Bill. In the scores on task A, score obtained is 68. And then score which would have obtained on the following day is 82. So it's totally a big gap different between the first result to the next result, right? Now let's compare to the scores on task B with the same student Bill. So in the first time, Bill obtained 65. And then after that, he got 69. So there is improvement, or there is difference between the first score to the second score, but it's not too completely different. So we can conclude that the scores on the task B, it's reliable, yeah, rather than the scores on the task A. That's the way to determine whether your test or your assessment is reliable or not. Okay? According to Brown, there are 4 kinds of reliability. Yeah, the first one, student-related reliability, and then better reliability, and the third one is task administration reliability, and the last one is test reliability. Okay, so now let's talk about the first kind of reliability. It is about student-related reliability. So this kind of reliability refers to the temporary illness, fatigue, bad day, anxiety, or other physical or psychological factors of the student. So the score obtained of the student may be not his or her actual score because of some factors mentioned before. So it is called as student-related reliability. Yeah, so it is connected to the student itself that affects their result or their achievement in the classroom. And the second one is rater reliability. So rater reliability deals with the scoring process. The factors that can affect this reliability might be human error, subjectively, and bias in scoring process. Okay, this kind of reliability fall into 2 categories. The first one, inter-rater reliability. It occurs when 2 or more scorers, okay, yield inconsistent scores of the same time. Possibility for lack of attention to scoring, or inexperience, inattention, or even bias, right? It can affect the result of the student score. And the second one is intra-rater reliability. Yeah, what is that? Well, it is a common occurrence for classroom teacher because of unclear score criteria, fatigue, or bias toward particular good or bad student, or simple careless. Yeah, It is called as intra-rater reliability. And then, the third one, test administration reliability. Well, we talk about test administration reliability. It concerns with the condition and situation in which the test is administered. Okay, to increase the degree of this kind of reliability test, the teachers as the administrator should consider all the things related to the task administration. For example, if we want to conduct a listening test, we should provide a room which is very comfortable for listening, and then the noise from outside of the room cannot enter the room, right? So it will not bother you when you are concentrating to listen the audio. The audio, the audio is also should clear to all students. Even we have to consider the lighting, the condition of the desk, and the chair as well. So they are included as the task administration reliability. Okay. Next one is task reliability. It refers to the task itself, whether the task fits into the time constraint, or like the task should not be too long or too short, right? And also, the item of the task should be crystal clear. It must be clear enough for the student so that it will not end with ambiguity. So you do not lead your student to misunderstand about the direction of the test. Now, we have done about the second principle in developing language assessment. Now we move on to the third one, is authenticity, right? Well, if we talk about authenticity, what does it mean? Authenticity deals with the real world. Okay, the authenticity is the degree of the correspondence of the characteristic of given language task to the features of the target language task. The teachers should construct a task with the task item are likely to be used or applied in the real context or daily life. So you have to consider about the context use when you try to develop language assessment. According to Brown, he proposes some consideration that might be very helpful for you to present the authenticity in a task. The first one is, the language in the task is natural as possible. So you have to relate the task with your student's environment. Okay? And the items are contextualized rather than isolated. And you have to consider also about the topics of the task. The topics must be meaningful, like they have to be relevant or interesting to your learners. And some thematic organization to item is also must be provided, such as through a story or episode. And the task must represent or closely approximately like to the real world task. Right? So, we finally end up with a conclusion. Now, a task considered as a good task if it contains practicality, good validity, high reliability, and authenticity. Okay? And the four principles can provide you the guideline for both constructing and also evaluating the task. Okay? And you, as a teacher, should apply these four principles in constructing or evaluating the task, which will be very useful for you in assessment activities. Okay, class? That's all about our materials today. It's very nice, right? Please do not hesitate to ask some question related to our materials in our group or in our Spada. Thank you very much for your nice attention. See you in the next session, and wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Terima kasih sudah menyaksikan video pembelajaran ini. Jangan lupa like, komen dan subscribe, serta nyalakan tanda loncengnya agar kalian tidak ketinggalan informasi update lainnya.